Hey everyone, it's Tristan from Crafting Worlds. By the way, did you know Crafting Worlds has a Discord and a community? Links in the description below. Come join us. Anyway, today we're looking at a Epomaker keyboard called the TH85. This is a 75% keyboard, but it is more attuned to the layout of, say, like the Wooting than it would be of a normal 75% where you have the keys kind of coming down the row. So I really like the design of this. And Epomaker makes some pretty solid entries into the keyboard space, especially affordable entries. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And here it is. Look at this beauty. Isn't this nice looking? It's such a clean design. I love the Wooting-esque cluster, like with the keys here and then the arrow keys away from your enter so you don't ever mess that up, which is just awesome. Let's unplug this for a second though, because I want you to look at some of the things that are a little weird. So in this cluster, usually your delete key would be here, but it's up here. I feel like they should have switched this with the end or home or something. I don't know exactly what they would have done here. I get why they kept these together because on a TKL they are together. But in terms of like where you would normally go for the delete key for muscle memory, it would be there. So honestly, out of everything that you're going to see today, that's my only thing. And because these keys are different sizes, you can't just easily swap them. This will be, the delete key will be higher on this. And that just is, you know, that wouldn't be fun. So, but overall, the aesthetic, very clean, very nice. The RGB is very bright and the LEDs are bright and you've got south-facing RGB. Then if we flip it over, you've got feet, which is great. And under the feet, you have the dongle for your wireless connectivity. And it goes in there pretty well. As you saw, I was struggling to get that out. So it's not going to like fall out if you want this as a travel keyboard. And let's talk about that because it is plastic. All around, plastic everywhere. Oh, but except for this, it's like a metal mesh grate. And I think this looks really clean. I think that is a very, very nice aesthetic. It's different, you know, it's nice to have different. Plus the way they did the escape key and the enter key, you know, it's nice when they do little accent keys and they put a little love into the keyboard. So also on the back here, you're going to have your Bluetooth 2.4 gigahertz and your USB in your Mac and Windows key, as well as your USB-C. Now, the thing that people often ask is what's in the box? And to that, I say it has a plastic grandma cover. It's got a braided cable. It's got extra switches, which I always like because if something breaks, that's great. And it's got a keycap puller. So yeah, for you box hoarders, that's what's in it.
What's in the box?
Now let's plug this back in. Take a look. Ooh, isn't that lovely? Such a lovely, bright RGB. As you can see, we have south-facing. And even the keys themselves, like these are the milk blue switches. And they just look really nice. They're very bright and they have a nice stem and they don't have a lot of wobble and they feel really good. They also have a good sound profile, which we'll get to. But yeah, look, this to me is a travel keyboard. This just screams travel keyboard. You've got the different sizes of feet, the small and the large. By the way, the large will pass the push test. The small also pass the push test. So you do not need to worry about moving your keyboard out of the way if you have the feet up. I find that the angle that it's at is actually pretty good, but I would say if you like a little bit more of an angle, the large feet is the way to go. And it feels really nice to type on that way. But for the review purposes, so you can see it better, I will keep those feet down. Now, the key point here is the price. So you have $79.99 for a very nice, like Wooting-esque 75% layout. So I'm not exactly sure why they're calling this a gaming keyboard. Maybe it's because of the layout, but they do say it has low latency, anti-ghosting, precise keystrokes and all that, but they say that on everything. So I'm not really sure. It's not a Hall effect board. So there's nothing crazy about it. It does have hot swappable keys. You have the you know, different connectivities, and then the 5 layers of sound dampening, which we'll get to in a second because wow, it sounds good. And it's got this really nice 75% layout, although they call it an 80% and then a 75%. You know, y'all have to get your this needs to, oh, come on, Epomaker, fix that. You have different colors. You have the blue and black and white. You have the black and white, and you have the white and black. I chose this because of the switch, the milky blue switch. I know what the creamy jade switch sounds like, and I like it. So you can't really go wrong with either of these, but I'd never really tried the milky blue switch. And to be honest, I'm glad I did. It's very nice. Now, here it is, QMK and VIA compatibility. Bonus. Like, I'm sorry, it's just awesome. It's a fantastic addition. I also love this back plate. I know this says Windows, Mac, and everything here, but I want you to just look at this. Look how lovely the RGB is on this really cool mesh design. Isn't that just a nice little addition? It's not like you're going to see it that often from here, but like if you're coming to your desk and you see that on the desk, or you got a reflective surface, I just think it's just a nice addition. And I like RGB. I know some people don't, but I really like bright RGB. And this thing really has that. Plus, the lovely icy blue white that comes out of these is just really nice. Sometimes you can't get that crisp RGB, but let's take a look here at the different stuff. So yeah, so here's the low latency gaming keyboard. We really need to stop writing things with AI. Elevate your gaming experience. Elevate is one of those words that AI just fucking loves. So we really need to stop that. Yeah, all right. So here's your hot swappable. And then here's what makes it sound good. And it's got a lot of layers of different stuff in here. Just a ton of different things. 5 layers of Poron, IXP, silicon, sound enhancement pad, dampening materials. It's just, it really makes this thing thock, which is really nice. But it's not too givey. It actually has like a harder plate inside. So you're definitely not getting a lot of give, which if you don't like that, keep that in mind, because this does not give like a lot of keyboards I've used. This feels more like a Hall effect. And perhaps that is why they call this more for gaming, because in gaming, you want less give. In typing situations, you want a little bit more bounce. It helps you to type. It reduces fatigue. But in gaming, you want your switches to be your switches. So perhaps the reason they're calling it gaming is because you have a much less giving board here. But let's get to the sound test, because I feel like it really brings it home. So there you have it. That's the crux of the TH85 from Epomaker. It is a all-around solid board, good for travel, VIA support, beautiful LED lighting, a really nice layout that I personally am a huge fan of, that whole Wooting layout, a lovely RGB accent, so a unique design, good switches, nice sounding thock, a harder, which could be pro or con for depending on what you're going to use it for, but a harder typing experience. So it doesn't give as much. It's a little harder. It's not as a harder typing experience that isn't as mushy, which could be pro or con depending on where you're coming from. For gaming, it's very good. For typing, it's okay. And in general, just a very nice, clean aesthetic, which I like. The only con, like I said, is that weird placement of your delete key and your end key. These should be swapped 100%. But other than that, like, This is great. I would travel with this. This would be something I would put in a bag with me. I like the versatility. I like the tri-connectivity. And I just like the look of it. And I like the sound of it. And I feel like because it's got VIA support and because it has everything that I would need in a keyboard, there really isn't more to be said about this. It's a very straightforward keyboard. Oh, other than obviously the price, which if you go on Amazon, you can get 20% off this $79.99. So on Epomaker, it is $79.99 with there's no sale or anything like that. But on Amazon, it is $79.99 or with a 20% off coupon. So that is fantastic. And you have all the different types here as well. The only other con that I could think of is that it doesn't come with the Mac keys. So even though it is Mac compatible, this is not in the box. So you're gonna have to buy your own Mac keys if you want the, control and Windows and stuff keys to be replaced with Option and Command. What do you think? Do you like this keyboard? I do. I think it's simple. I like that it's lightweight. And I like it for all the reasons that I've mentioned before. I just think it is a really solid entry. There's really no super frills on it. It's a keyboard that works. It's a keyboard that's affordable, and it's a keyboard that sounds good, and it has multifunctionality because of the harsher plate in it for gaming, which I think is really great. So someone that's looking for a gaming and productivity keyboard, one to rule them all, unless of course you want to go Hall effect, which we'll get into another review about some Hall effects as usual. But for a mechanical keyboard, this one kind of clicks all the buttons. I didn't even mean to say it like that, but man, I am funny. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Always happy to hear from you. Always happy to engage as well. Hit the like if you liked it, down if you didn't like it, twice. Subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.